The Bill still.
I don't know, but about that.
Little John and East Side Boy. Bone Crushers. It's funny to hear my sound. You turned it off.
Hi everybody, my name is Krys Davis and welcome to Beyond the Noise.
He don't have a mic, so. Oh, okay.
I am your temporary host. As you know, this is the show of my friend Greg Walls, but we've decided to turn the tables around, I should say, and interview him today. If you guys are tuned in last week, Greg and I had the opportunity to sit down and talk where he interviewed me about my different businesses, the Wicked Wine Run, Super Mommy's Fitness LLC, and my newest business, Her Style Graphics. And during that time, in discussing about my story and my plight in business, I wondered about Greg's origin story as well. What he's been through, what made him the man that he is, the entrepreneur that he is.
Give us 1 second, Krys. We got a little bit of technical difficulty. Oh, keep going. Here we go. Because I'm with you.
So during that interview, I really started to wonder, all these years of me working with Greg, I know a lot about him, but I want to know a lot more about how he became the man that he is today. And I'm sure a lot of you guys listening want to hear that too, now that you've been able to listen to several episodes of his podcast. And so we want to get to know about the man that created Beyond the Noise. But before we get to Greg Walls, let me introduce sidekick, the woman that makes it all happen behind the scenes, Gracie Dagnino.
Hi, Krys. Am I talking loud enough for everyone?
No, not yet. You got to turn that volume up.
I'm talking loud for me. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I will be sure to straighten out any stories that are too exaggerated. I've heard many of them. But before I guess we start, I just wanted to share with everyone, if you didn't know, we are selling PE shirts, or performance experience shirts, not physical education. They're $15, and we would really love for everyone to help us out by getting those sold. If you can't train with us or you just like to support the cause and support Greg, because as you know right now, supporting small businesses is important. So help us out. It's $15. We're doing PayPal, Venmo, pretty much everything except for Cash App. Too high on the percentage. So make sure you get one.
And where can they get those shirts?
You can get that shirt by messaging me either on Facebook, Instagram, because I need to know your place to deliver it as well as your shirt size, and then I can get you all the payment information for the electronic payment.
Excellent. So we're going to dive right in. Let me tell you a little bit about how I know Greg Walls. My husband and I started a outdoor fitness and corporate fitness program company years ago, and I think right after the first year, Greg and my husband were able to start a business relationship together, and my husband just had the most amazing things to say about Greg. He really was a great asset to him in that business, and Greg, after some years, moved on to start his own company and did really well with that. And as we expanded our companies to Wicked Wine Run, we decided to tap into Greg again because he is absolutely always an asset. And Greg and I began to work a lot more closely together. And I've learned a lot from the guy. I really love being around him. To me, he's one of the hardest workers in the room, no matter what room we're in, and that's something that I always admire from anyone. He's a hell of a storyteller. He's a hell of a storyteller, and he's got so much to give. He's super passionate about everything that he does, which is another thing that I admire from him. As you guys know, we encounter people every single day that just go through the motions. Greg's not one of those people. Greg is super passionate about what he does. Greg is super passionate about life. and Greg is super passionate about representing who he is as a human in this world. So Greg, thank you for joining me for your interview on your show.
I'm a little nervous about it because now I got to live up to all these stories and these lies I told you to tell, and I put a check in the mail, so we're good. So.
It's all good. I'm so excited to learn so much about you.
Mm-hmm.
And as I told you a few days ago, one reason when I kind of jokingly said, I'd love to hear your origin story, Greg,
right.
and you were into it, which was
Yeah.
awesome. I started to think about, what I wanted to know about you. I'm like, man, me and Greg have worked a lot together.
A lot of years, yeah.
Yeah, and we've worked in some very high stress situations,
Yeah.
which can make you super love someone or super hate someone when
Instant.
you're in the foxhole.
Yes.
Right? And we've been in the foxhole together.
Yes.
And I was like, man, I've been in the foxhole with this guy, and Greg is still kind of a mystery to me. And
Right.
so I want to unlock the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start down to basics. Tell me where you're from.
Well, Krys, I was raised in Mississippi. I was born in California. I don't know, I think, and what I like about today's time is that anything I say can be fact checked, because I'm sure my mama and my dad is listening, because Mama Nisi said, all right, now listen, baby, I heard you was going to be doing an interview now. You can't be on there cussing, because if you're on there cussing, I just can't listen to it. So, with that being said, we got to make sure I keep all my words intact. But I was raised in Mississippi. I was born in California, born in February 1979. When I was born, I ended up coding out. The very next day, I had my lung collapsed. I had a mitral valve prolapse. So imagine a 1 or 2 day old, few hour old baby, as a matter of fact, my dad's firstborn, I'm his namesake. They're all happy and excited and passing out cigars and calling you homeboys, and then the very next day, your kids in ICU and you praying to God and you waiting on doctors to come back and tell you stuff. So evidently, God felt like I might as well stick around for at least 41 years now. So it was by a miracle I'm here. So it was what do they call those things that they put on your chest and they go clear and
AED?
Yeah. So imagine having an AED on a preemie, a baby who was born a little early, and now you got to shock him back to life. Mm-hmm. So when they did that, from my understanding, the doctor comes in, talks to Nisi and talks to Greg and say, hey, your son's gonna make it. However, he's gonna have some problems. He's gonna have to learn a lot of things a little bit later in life than other people, and he's gonna have a speech impediment, and he's gonna have a hard time, comprehending and articulating.
Was this because what they thought happened when you coded?
Well, oxygen,
right.
The loss of oxygen,
Gotcha.
So, and to hear those things as a parent, I can only imagine how a dad can go from pride to fear. And every time we talk about it, he cuts the conversation short. But my mom, I asked her, I said, Mom, I don't really know what happened. Tell me what happened. And she said, all right, baby, well, I'll give you the information. So for my 35th birthday, I got an envelope in the mail. And this is how my mom's mind worked. And in that envelope was an explanation of a mitral valve prolapse and what happens, and these articles from these doctors, and then a picture of me so she was like, this is the gift. This is actually your story, so you need to keep this. So that's my California story going into Mississippi. I'm a country boy, Krys. I'm from backwoods South Mississippi.
I could not tell that by your
I'm 100% country boy, fishing, learn how to shoot guns, playing football in the street. So to be able to grow up in that environment when there were no age limits and nobody was exempt. All my homeboys, and they can attest to this, if you could be 8 or you could be 18. If you're playing, you're playing. And the rules are the same. The fastball is the fastball. If you go catch a football in the street, you better get ready. I don't care how big you are, how small you are. So that's how we came up. So to be able to go from that and then transition into the biggest second biggest state in the union. It was interesting.
Well, before we talk about how you came to Texas, let's roll it back.
Right on.
Even pre-Mississippi. So I was listening to you tell the story about you essentially being this miracle baby, right? This is what your parents told you.
Right.
Like you must be here for a reason.
That's
what
my
your
mama
parents
would
told
say
you?
that, oh, she baby,
Okay, so
baby,
that's
you here
what-
for some reason.
That's what I want to get into, right? So the way that you told that story, I'm like, yeah, I think you've heard the story. You were meant to be here. God had a reason for you. And it was your mommy and your dad telling you that?
Yeah, well, they communicate differently. See, my old man is, he's loud. I'm loud like him. I think I got my mentality from Nisa, from my mom. I got my personality from my dad. So when my dad talks about things, he talks to you like he's the only one that has the information. So he'll be like, listen, let me tell you, he'll be like, let me tell you something, boy. Now, if you receive this, you must receive this. If you don't, it can't help you, but if you do. So 5 minutes, you in there like, receive what, man? You still ain't told me nothing. But the way he communicates is he's the only one with the information and it's sacred. But my mama, she communicates very directly only to you. So if she's telling you something, it's for you. So she would always say, son, listen, you need to know, I don't know what it is, but God had a reason for you, because he could have left you there. He could have left you on that table, but he's got a reason for you. And I would be like, when you 15, 16, okay, well, somebody tell me that reason, you know.
So
what I mean?
with you hearing that off and on your entire life, have you ever been in dark moments or light moments or any moments in between that kind of, you heard that inside yourself?
Well, I know why I'm here, though. I know why I'm here now. Like, there is no doubt why I'm here. The way I look at this whole life thing is, we have to, I'm a big fan of words. Like, I'm a huge fan of words.
No.
And
you don't say.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I like to feel like I know what I'm talking about. So the way I look at this thing is, we're not that important. And I'm going somewhere with this. Like, as far as this earth goes, it's how many of us? Billion, trillion? It's a whole bunch of us out here. So when I leave this place, because I won't be here forever, it's not gonna stop. So in the grand scheme, I don't make an impact. I may make a ripple, but never an impact. But as far as my world goes, and I want everybody to kind of understand what I'm saying, as far as your world goes, you're just as important as the value you bring to somebody else. And you don't know that until you pass away. Like, you don't understand your importance until you're gone. Because, you know, a lot of us do everything we can to protect I. It sounds cool when we say, I'll do this for my family member, I'll do everything, but you don't really know you don't know if a person's gonna fight until the fight breaks out. But what I have learned is, you're only as important as the value you bring to this place. So if you're getting people to a place that they needed help getting to, or if you have information that can push a person forward that you have to give away, or if you can protect that baby or that puppy from that heinous act that other person wants to commit, but they know you know, then that's value, that's important. And that's how important you are. Most people in this whole, movie of life or movie of their life, they're not even an important character. Grace has heard me say this before, like, I at least need to know and have a starring role in my movie. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be the star, but I have to have a starring role. And it has to be recurring. So most of us don't want that recurring role in our own life. So I know why I'm here. I'm here to teach.
So let me ask you, when you say, I know I'm here to teach, I'm here to bring value to others, when did you feel that in your adolescence?
You know what? The only thing I knew in my adolescence was that I was going to graduate from college.
What kind of kid were you?
I was very aggressive, hardly ever slept, Kind of the same as I am as an adult. I liked being by myself. I would play with everybody, and I would play team games. Like I didn't ever have a problem fitting in or being a part of or having friends. I had a great childhood actually, but I was never afraid to spend as much time as possible with myself. And I always asked questions. Always ask questions. And I not the kind of question like why? Like the kind of questions where you sit back and go, I wonder how they got that extra on TV, how much they pay that cat. Like I was asking them questions to myself when I was like 6. Or, I see these lines in this concrete. I wonder how they got that down. Like I was very interested in how things happened. So I would play football by myself. I would literally run backwards, throw the ball forward, sprint under the ball, and go catch the ball. I would play baseball by myself. I was never bored. Let me say it like that.
And you had siblings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were never bored, and I like to antagonize a lot. So so we were always into something, and I learned how to fight by beating them up and learning all the wrestling moves when I was a young cat. But as a kid, life was really good. I didn't know how much we struggled as a kid because my mom and dad was so awesome.
So do you think your birth order, because you said that you're the oldest.
I'm the second. I'm my dad's firstborn.
Okay.
I'm the second to the oldest. It's 5. We got a hoop squad. So it's Krishina's the oldest.
Okay.
That's my mom's firstborn. With my dad, we're all brother and sister. Me, Jasmine, Brandon, and then Palisade, who is my cousin, who was adopted, and she's family. She's my sister. But it's 5 of us, and then my crazy daddy and my mama.
So, I know football eventually became a very important part of your life.
Yes.
Was it super important in your life in your young adolescence, or when did that start to become something that you aspired to continue?
Baseball was the baby.
Oh.
Baseball is my favorite sport to this day. I've been playing baseball since I was 5 years old. And I learned, and if my old man is on, he can attest to this. I didn't play t-ball. I was always hitting a moving ball. So I've been good at baseball my whole life. But I was good because everybody in my neighborhood was good. And then we had really good coaches. Like we had dads that were excellent coaches and actually cared about how to play the game. So football, I wanted to play football. I actually wanted to play for the Bears or the Bulldogs for the Pee Wee League, but my mama said I was too little. So Harvey Miller, and shout out to Josh Robinson, shout out to Harvey, would come and talk to the old man about me playing. Hey, Craig, you gonna let him play? And my daddy would always turn it back over to my mama, knowing she's gonna say no. So I didn't play organized ball till 8th grade. I didn't play organized football till 8th grade. But baseball, I had been playing my whole life. So football was I like the aggression, and it was gonna get me to school, which brings me back to that point. When I was 12 years old, if it's one thing in my life that I knew I was graduating from college. Don't tell me how, I just knew it. I knew I was gonna play a sport, whatever it was, didn't matter. But I was going to college to do something and graduate. So that was the one thing I knew as a teenager, or as a kid.
Was that just something driven inside of you, like, hey, I'm looking around my environment, or I'm looking on TV, and I know that where I need to be, I need to take these steps, which include graduating college, or was it something that your family or your educators pressed in you?
It was my mom. I knew I wasn't stupid. It was, seriously, it was like, my mama is... Stupid was the worst thing in the house.
Well, let's talk about this.
Okay.
This is where I want to dive in.
Okay.
So if any of our listeners listened to last week, Gracie, do you know what the interview was called last week?
It was called.
While you look that up, if you listened to the interview last week, Greg was interviewing me about my different businesses, and I was talking about even though I was had not confidence in other areas of my life, I always was confident about my intellectual abilities. And Greg said that was something that he related to a lot. He said so much so that even when he was a child, him and his brothers and sisters could be cutting up, cursing, calling each other's names, but if Their mother even heard them whisper the word stupid. She
Yep.
would, fly out of wherever
Mhm.
cave she was in or whatever she was doing
Right.
and stop them. And I asked Greg off the mic,
Mhm.
um, was that your mom seemed to have a visceral reaction to that word? Did something happen to you or did something happen to your mom? And Greg said, I don't really know. And I said, have you ever asked her? And he said, no. And I said, okay, well, would you be opposed to asking her? We can dive in because I think that would be really interesting. And Greg sent me a text. He said he talked to his mother, and it is really interesting.
So I talked to Nisi, and people who know me, who've ever asked me questions that took a little thought, I said, hey mom, I know how you feel about the word stupid, and I know you go off on us, and she'd be like, Now those are her listening mechanisms. Like most people go, to get you to stop. She doesn't look at you when you're talking to her. She's all over the place, kind of like me, but she's really, really paying attention. So I said, so mom, you never really told me why stupid was so powerful. Why couldn't we say stupid? And she said, well,
So
and
you?
so she took that deep, let me calm myself breath and went, well, I'm just gonna tell you, stupid is a choice. She was like, I don't understand why. I don't understand why anybody on the planet would just choose to be stupid. Ignorance, we all have ignorance. She was like, we all have something we don't know about or don't have knowledge in. But for you to just be just stupid because you don't want to go find something, you don't want to go read something. But this is the thing that stuck with me. She said, I don't know why you would want somebody to tell you what to do, what to be, how to be all the time. Because if you choose to be stupid, people can tell you anything. Those are her words. I say that all the time. So when I was a kid, I was like, I know how to avoid ever being stupid. That's why I get so frustrated at not knowing stuff. That's why I don't like surprises. That's why I don't argue with people about things that I know. Like I won't do it because I know I'm not stupid. You sound stupid, but I'm not stupid, and I know. So I have so much confidence in the ability to go know stuff. And like that is rooted in me, not knowing, not a know-it-all, but the ability to dig as deep as necessary to know what you need to know to get done what you need to get done. And she would always say that, and she would say, why not? If you really want to go learn something, go know it. There ain't nothing you can't go know. And if you can go know it, you can go do it. And she would get really upset. She was like, "There's some people out there that don't have the mental capacity to think. They don't have the mental capacity."
I say this all the time. Some people don't understand because they born intelligent.
Exactly.
Right? It's not something that they boast about. They're just intelligent, quick thinking.
Mhm.
And then I tell my daughters all the time, you don't understand that not everybody has that ability because the people around you, your father's intelligent, your mother's intelligent,
Right.
But there are people that we all have conversations with, and they could be anywhere. They could be doctors,
Yep.
they could be at the grocery store, they could be anywhere, but you come in contact with a person, and you could tell like, it's like fitness, right? You can tell somebody's strong when they try to lift weights.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, lifting that rack, that's, ooh, you're strong. Deadlifting. And then when you have a conversation with someone and you're like, not that quick.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And I realized from her, there is no limit to what you can know about certain things.
That's it sounds a lot like what you described her doing for you for your birthday was something reminiscent, like that you would do for someone.
Yeah, because I want people to know. Like you can't. I say, and I really believe this: the biggest power a human being can have is knowing something other people don't know you know. So I watch these people, let the world tell them how to be, what to think, how to do things. Or I'll give a real life example. So I read a meme of Tim Tebow and Colin Kaepernick. So Tim Tebow was taking a knee and Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee. And it said, under Tim Tebow, the same people who fussed and cussed about this are the same people who are cheering this. Now, here's what I know for an absolute fact. That is the stupidest comment in the world, and it has no merit or value. But this is how I know. I play football. Pre-game, when you're running out of the tunnel, many of the players run to the other side and take a knee. Or when you score a touchdown, they take a knee. I scored, I don't know, in high school, I scored 3 in college, and I scored like, I don't know, 7, 8 or 9, 10, 12 in high school. I always took a knee. So we were doing the Tim Tebow before Tim Tebow was doing Tim Tebow. And nobody ever fussed about it, because coaches did it too. So that statement is absurd. But people who don't know, they comment on the stupidity. My mama taught me, don't get in stupid conversations with stupid people. So I just leave it alone. I'm not calling people stupid, but that's how passionate I am about what I know. So I also found out that the basis of knowledge is not answers. It's the ability to humble yourself, to ask questions, and to be wrong. Most of us can't be wrong. We have to be right. My mama always said, hey, don't be singing that song unless you know all the words. Well, I don't want to be wrong, so I go learn the words to the song. Yeah, you know, and to this day, it takes me, 2 days to learn the words of a song. And I always say,
listen to it like 20 million
exactly, because I want to know. But then I go,
a rule in his house, he cannot sing along unless he knows
unless I know the words. So, and I take that to heart.
He does that with movies
So,
too. You
I
watch
was
movies like 7 times.
Because it's always something different you can get from it. Somebody's always doing something different. When I do that, I look at the movie from all the perspectives of the characters.
So something that you've talked about a lot is, not only just intelligence, but seeking information.
Yes.
And not being okay with not knowing something and then finding that out, learning. So tell me how you feel about know-it-alls.
I like know-it-alls if they're right. It's just the way you have to. What I'm trying to learn is how to communicate with everyone without not sacrificing who I am.
Well, let me define what I
Okay.
think is know-it-all, because our definitions might be different. A know-it-all is someone that will even pretend to know something when they don't, because they don't want to seem unintelligent. So they will pretend to know something that they don't, or they will defend a argument or a point that they don't really know about, just so that they won't appear to be less intelligent.
Yep. I got a statement for people like that. I always say, talking loud don't make you right, it just makes you loud. You think you're winning an argument because you're over talking people. And another thing is, when you're saying the truth to know-it-alls and they keep cutting you off, they're cutting you off because they don't want other people to know they don't know. So I used to try to show them up. I used to try to be the smart guy. Now, I don't pay them any mind. Unless it can be detrimental to a group of people or detrimental to a factual situation, I let people take their wins. Because I don't know. I don't know if they're going to fact check me. So I've learned to lead with questions. If you really want to upset somebody, ask them a question. If you really want to know if they know, ask them a question. If you really want to know if they want to find out, just ask them a question and watch the reaction. So.
Well, let me ask you this. So, with a person that is as intelligent as you are, Greg, and is humble enough to know when you don't know something and seek the information if you feel like it, did you always have that? Did you always have the humility to be like, hey, I don't know that. I don't have any business speaking on it.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely
Well,
not.
tell us about that, because, a lot of people, men and women, don't have the humility to say that they don't know something.
So here is the truth. People who think they know, like me, people like me who are right all the time, even when I'm not. We try to dance around the answer, even if it's wrong. But what I've learned is I don't care if people are upset with things I don't know. And I think the most powerful thing you can say as a professional is, you know what, I don't have an answer to that. And you can take it further and say, let me go look for that,
Yeah.
or you can say, I don't have the answer for that, or I don't know. Because I've learned that pausing and doing it like that makes the yeah. No, you know those people. Yeah. I got it. You know they're not listening to you, and then they're telling you basically they don't know. So I've learned that humility is a thing that we all is going to be forced upon confident people. It gets forced upon us because a lot of us look at things in absolutes. Okay, so for example,
Black and white.
yeah, so it's like Michael Jordan's the best player on the planet. LeBron James sucks.
Don't say that around Gracie.
But that's where I'm going, right?
He didn't say about Kobe, so we're good.
But this is where I'm going. So those are so absolute. Or you know, Kobe Bryant can do this, and this, but LeBron ain't this. So it's like LeBron sucks, Kobe's great. Kobe sucks, LeBron's great. Like it blows my mind how we take those absolutes, and most of us ain't done nothing. That's why it's so easy to do that. Like, Krys, there's certain things I don't subscribe to. I don't subscribe to theories. I don't subscribe to conversations with people who haven't done or don't understand. And I don't subscribe to, well, I just think. Because it doesn't help anybody. But people who have no interest in actually knowing, they just have more interest in being right, they find ways to continue to be right. For example, the same media that we fuss about lying and fooling the world and trying to kill us all, we're using those same media to make a point that we're trying not to make. That's hypocrisy. So if the media is lying and you're using the media to make a truthful point, that sounds stupid. So how about we go get some information, maybe some experience, maybe some data, maybe watch a documentary, maybe read a book or two. But I think that's what we're here for.
Well, I love that you have humility and have learned at whatever time in your life that you know you're okay with that. Now, the last time that we drifted away from your personal story, you're still in Mississippi.
Yep.
And you eventually made it to the great state of Texas.
I did.
Tell me how you came to Texas, and tell me how your love of football, although it's your second love, baseball, you guys should know, was his first. How football got you here.
Well, this is the reason I do what I do. Okay. And here's the straight up truth. So there's a gentleman, shout out to Coach Buckley. Coach Buckley from Lucedale, Mississippi, George County, coached at USM. I mean, that man changed the direction of my entire life. Because what people don't understand is, like, you go to my hometown and people talk about me and the things I did as a player. But here's the truth. I might have been the 5th or 6th best athlete on that team in my high school, on the baseball team as well as the football team. It was the same way at TCU. I might have been the 5th or 6th best athlete on the defense. So Coach Buckley, we played George County 2 times that year. We played them once in the regular season. We played them once in the playoffs. The playoffs, they beat us. They beat us on the 4th down. My man, Fat Man, couldn't get the first down. They ran the clock out. You know, as senior year, crying. Coach Buckley comes up to me, shakes my hand, and says, "Son, you keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna get a chance to play somewhere." He called TCU. He called Rick Villarreal at TCU and said, "Hey, there's a kid in Mississippi. Y'all need to go look at." TCU don't even recruit Mississippi. That opportunity was given. What I learned from that, me being a 17-year-old kid to today, is that nobody earns any opportunities. Like, I want everybody listening to really understand what I'm saying. I've never earned an opportunity. I was just prepared for it.
Yeah,
it's a huge difference. Like, because people give you opportunities. Whether or not you prepare for it is up to you.
Totally.
Your husband gave me an opportunity when no opportunity existed. This is what I got into fitness because of Sam Davis. And here's how. I was in a boot camp. I was doing the boot camp in Arlington when it was at Lamar, and then I had to go make some money because I had to go pay off some fines for a DWI. So I left. I went to Shreveport, did the gas and oil thing. Sam was good with it. I stayed in contact with Sam. Well, they shut the project down. Sam was the third call I made. Said, Sam, come back to the DFW, man, you got a space for me? The answer is no, he didn't have a space for me. We had a boot camp that was, I had been gone, it went from 25 people literally to one instructor, one person. Sam was like, gee, I'm gonna put you back on. It was 2 instructors and 1 person. So he gave me an opportunity. I didn't deserve an opportunity. He just gave it to me. With that, I took it and I ran with it because I was prepared. I had done the boot camp before. I knew how to build a camp. I've never been afraid to go try stuff and learn stuff. So 3 months later, we go back up to about 18 or 19. So, and that's how Sam and I's relationship started to grow, through him I still don't know why he gave it to me. Because it cost him. It literally cost him money to put me out there. And I don't know what, 11 years later, we're the best of friends. He can call me, you can call me for whatever. And what do I always say? As long as you don't cost me nothing, I'll go. So, because I've learned so much and I understand what the opportunity will bring. I've never taken a job for the money. I take jobs for money. I ain't finna do nothing for free. But I've never taken a job for the money. Like I took a job at Lifetime to learn how they operated, how their contracts and stuff work.
Very smart.
You know, I took a job. I did a DoorDash to figure out how the customer service situation worked. I worked at a dead serious. I did gas and oil. I did gas and oil to find out how like fine print and contracts. So I've never taken a job and been like, yeah, I'm doing this for the money. I've always felt like I can make money. I never worry about making money. I know how to do that. My dad, everybody in my family will work. We have no problem working. Work is what we do. So I never worry about that. But learning, I want to be able to have something I can give away and nobody can take away. You know what I'm saying? Like they can take your land away. They can take your house away. They can't take your thoughts and your mind and your intelligence. So it's impossible to take that away. And you can use that especially against somebody's ego or against somebody's attitude or aggression. If you know how to change a tire, you save money. It don't take long to learn how to change a tire. So when I see grown men on the side of the road and they girl be changing their tire,
oh my goodness,
it makes me want to DDT everybody. Because I'm like, first of all, my daddy taught me about work. Second of all, she shouldn't be on the side of the road. Third of all, how come you haven't learned how to change a tire? Like those things are life lessons that if you know it, you save so much money. They laugh at me all the time, Krys, because I'll build something before I buy it.
You know what I think is a valuable lesson of that, of what you're saying also, and I'm pretty sure this is in what you're saying, but a little bit more subliminally, is also the confidence that you walk around with, that it gives you.
Because you know.
Because you know so much stuff. My husband, we were driving around this weekend. He saw 2 ladies that didn't seem to be in great health trying to change a tire. And he was like, hey, babe, I know we got to go somewhere. But
I got to help.
Yeah. So he pulled over and he was like, hey, can I help you guys? And they were like, no, we got it. Girl power. And Sam was like, are you sure? And she was like, we've got it, girl power. And they weren't in any danger. And Sam was like, okay. And I was like, good for them. Good for them. And Sam was saying, hey, this is the week that we teach our teenage daughter to change the tire or whatever, even though she can call the 800 number just in case. And I said, also, Sam, it's not just about just in case. The confidence to know that I can take care of me, or that I'm smart, I can figure something out. Like when we were talking last week, when people ask you, hey, Greg, how do you know you can start this company, start this program? You're like, I don't know now, but I know I can figure it out.
There it is, right there.
The confidence that you have in yourself. So I love that you're like, I want to build it because I want to know that I can figure anything out.
And I'll take that a step further, Krys, like just to talk about why I do this. So it's important for us to understand that at PE, honestly, my overall goal is to build a belief in. Like that's really what I do. And
Can
this,
you explain that build a belief
yeah,
in?
so this is what I do. So my confidence comes from knowing, not learning. Because learning sucks. Learning is hard. It takes a long time. You don't understand. That's why people get frustrated, and then teachers get frustrated because kids supposed to know what they're talking about, and then like it's not good. But knowing is more than a relief. It's a boost of understanding of what you can actually do. Now, parents, I want you guys to listen to me. Now, I have been doing this for about 16 years. And the one advantage I have is the one that you guys say I don't have when you guys go, oh my God, you don't have any kids, so you don't understand. Actually, I do understand because I don't have kids. For example, I get a lot of, I don't get it up, but I've had over the years a lot of parents, because we do consults and assessments with all of our athletes and our parents. And parents are snipers to kids' confidence. And I'm gonna give some, and so I make it a point to talk and pay attention to the kid. For example, we'll do a speed assessment, and I'll say, all right, what do you think about your speed? The first thing I notice is that if Gracie's my mom, the kid goes. Because that's the spokesperson. Because most of the time, to try to protect these kids, they go, okay, now she ain't that fast and she knows that. And or she looks so clumsy, she knows that. And I'm sitting there like, she don't know that. As a matter of fact, her face is saying you are crushing her right now because she don't know that. And that's why we're in here. But it's, and she, we ain't really hoping for no big college or nothing. We just want to try to keep playing. And I'm thinking, why are we in here? All of that is the wrong direction. So what I do is this. I am not a rah-rah, you can do it, high five kind of guy. Never have been. My mama wouldn't appreciate it because it's fallacy. What I am is, okay, this is where you are. This is where you want to be. This is the amount of time we got to get there. If we do these things, we'll get there. Do you trust that? If we do these things, we'll get there. So if a kid wants to do a box jump and I see him scared, I don't say, yeah, you can do this, just try it. I go, all right, listen, let me tell you how we're gonna do this. If you do this, this, and this, I guarantee you'll make that jump. Because you got the ability, I've seen you do it. And then you see so when they miss the jump, oh my God, I missed the jump. What didn't we do to make the jump? So now you got all that power. And if that's what my mama gave me. My mama didn't give me an answer. She said, go look for them. Go up there and look in that encyclopedia. You want to know the words? Go get that dictionary. Don't be using words. Her and the great Lucille Walls-Roy, who taught me that's my great grandmother who passed away, and I still hear her voice in my head all the time. She taught me how to be me, and people having to accept it. She taught me not to say bye whenever you hang up the phone. My mom and dad, if they listen, they're laughing right now because she would go, hey, is Dreg there? Because Greg, she called him Dreg. I'd be like, no, Grandma, he ain't here. All right, click. She just hang up the phone. She'd be like, y'all coming over to eat? Yeah, what y'all want? We gonna get the greens cooked. All right, I got the greens cooked, ready cooking. I'll see y'all later. Click. She just hang up the phone. Like she's done. She's done talking to you. So she's just matter of fact. Everybody loved her. She could cuss in church. Nobody said anything. I was like, why does she get to cuss in church? How do I get to that status? That status of respect. You know what I'm saying? So I learned from those people. So when I'm putting that in a kid, and parents do to protect their kid, like it's like they can't do this and we're working on this and we know this. No, you don't, because I'm a country boy from Mississippi who wasn't the best athlete on the team and got a chance to play Division I football in the great state of Texas. So you don't know. We're gonna do everything we can to prepare you for this opportunity, because I know what it takes to prepare you for this opportunity. Hence, don't listen to people who don't know what it takes to prepare you for this opportunity.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me rewind you. What does it take to start your own company called Performance Experience, where you are meeting these kids, interacting with these parents, showing them the way. What does it take? How did you start that business? How did it pop up in your head? What are you trying to accomplish? Because when Sam told me, because he came back to Metroplex Boot Camp, Sam loved it. He's back. He's amazing.
And 2 years later,
he says, you know, hey, Greg's going to start his own business. Now, mind you guys, keep in mind this, and this is the thing with Greg Walls, and even give some credit to Sam Davis, right? Most people in a space, right? Let's not even talk about fitness. Let's say you are a hairstylist, and you have another hairstylist that's working for you, doing great job. Y'all are friends, making the money together, building a reputation together. And she says, I am gonna go open up a salon 20 minutes away. Sometimes people are a little salty about that, but my husband Sam wanted nothing but the best for Greg. Sam's great, but because Greg is great. Sam thinks Greg is amazing and wanted to see him realize his dream. He knows his passion and wanted to see you live your passion in living color.
Well, what happened was I noticed that a lot of good athletes, their careers were ending in high school. I'm talking about friends of mine, athletes that I watched over the years, and I just started paying attention at what happens.
Why is that?
Well, it's where I'm going. So when your career ends in high school, especially if you're from like a small town, or you have consistent habits outside of the game, and the game keeps you in a certain situation. When you lose that game, you kind of lose yourself, because everything you know about you is wrapped into the things you've done. Because you're young. I mean, you only know what you're being praised for, what you're being fussed at for, or what makes sense, or why people, cling to you or connect to you. So when that stops and you have the ability to compete, you're kind of lost, and then you get stuck in a position where you're just doing things because you can't do the thing you should be doing. And I noticed that. And when I was coaching, I started learning all the pieces of recruiting. Like, it's way more than just being able to run fast and jump high. It's like, I got to have these pieces in order. And that's what I meant. Like, I was ready for my opportunity. Like, when TCU called, I had already taken my ACT, SAT. My GPA was on point. I was in the top 20 percentile. All my grades were in order. So all I had to do was pay attention to what they were saying. I didn't have to go do anything extra.
You wrapped yourself up in a bow.
Yeah, I was ready to roll. The president was ready. So, but a lot of these kids, they don't know, and their parents don't know, or they expect the coaches to do it, or they think the ability is going to get them there, and then you're stuck. And when you lose that, your life takes a turn away from the thing you were headed towards. I don't know what would have happened with my life had I not had a chance to play ball, because I know I wasn't going to the military. I just wasn't. I knew I could work. I just didn't want to be in Mississippi doing work. You know what I'm saying? So I saw that, and when I learned how to recruit in Division II, how to recruit in Division I, and giving kids scholarships in 1AA Division II, and seeing what it does for their life. Like, I've given kids scholarships that are now, principals and superintendents of schools, and one, that graduating from colleges, like kids that I've given a scholarship to play for me, ended up doing bigger things with their life. So once I learned the process, I was like, I gotta give this away. I have to. Like, I have no choice.
Performance experience and manifestation of giving
That's
it away.
exactly what it is. So I didn't want us to be just a fitness, run around, cone drills, ladders. I wanted these kids to understand two things: confidence and concepts. Like, if you know it, you'll be like, you can have way more confidence than anybody else in the room. We have soccer girls that dominate our football kids because they know how to do what to do. They know they're not bigger or stronger or faster, but they're better, they're quicker, because they know how to do what to do. And if they can get out of the way of the things they've been told in their mind, that the boys are bigger and you need to be careful, and if they can get past that, then they're unstoppable. Not because they're big and strong and fast, just because they know how to maneuver in those situations. So performance experience was born from two things. I knew what I knew. Had I known what I didn't know, performance experience would still be an idea. But I knew what I knew, and I knew I wasn't gonna tell people that could talk me out of it. So I wasn't gonna tell my mom, you know, because she's one of the few people on the planet that can talk me out of stuff. I wasn't gonna tell other people so they can question me out of it. I just knew what I knew.
Try to second guess
Yeah,
yourself.
and I was like, the rest of it, I guess I'll figure out along the way. So I'm still going along the way, figuring it out. But over the past 6 years, Grace, we've helped have 70 plus kids earn scholarships.
Yeah.
So I know we're doing the right thing. And I used to get so frustrated at people like not want to be a part of it. I'm telling you all the answers. I'm about to help them. Nah, I learned that you gotta let people ask for help. And you gotta help people the way they need help, not the way they want to be helped.
Yeah, meet them where they're at.
Yeah, and doing those things, I've had a chance to see these kids realize their opportunities, their dreams, well beyond the field. Like, there are kids that struggle on the field, or it doesn't work out the way they want it to, but they got great careers and they've learned so many things. I think that the biggest lesson I learned in all of it, Krys, is that we have to accept the probability of it not working out. Like, a loss is a loss. A loss is not a lesson. You get lessons in the loss. Like, if you're in a boxing match and you get pieced up and knocked out, when you wake up, you're gonna have a number in the L column, right? That's a loss. Now, you might have learned a whole bunch of things. You might need to duck, I might need to bob and weave, I might need to train a little harder. I learned a lot of lessons, but I got taxed and I got a loss, right? So we have to embrace the probability of losing. That way, we can almost guarantee victory. Like,
Okay, I want to dig into that.
Okay.
But before we do, Gracie,
Yes.
tell us, has anybody sent in any questions, or do you have any questions for Mr. Walls?
Okay, so at the beginning, I put 2 questions up, not all together, back to back. But you said something to the effect that you knew him and that he was still kind of a mystery. And there was 2 people that actually disagreed.
What?
Eric and Nika.
Eric Little. Yeah.
Eric
What did
said,
Eric say?
Eric said, let me see, because it gets out of order.
I want to see why Eric does not believe that you are a man of mystery. Now, is Eric someone from your childhood?
No, Eric. I met Eric out here. Eric owns a construction company out here in the DFW. Eric is a really good friend of mine. He awesome dude, very brash. He can be an a-hole sometimes. He don't mind me saying that, but he's very honest in his thoughts, and he understands friendships. Like, he doesn't bite his tongue to make a person feel a certain way. I think that the biggest thing that I think the hardest things that I think the things that humans have the hardest time with is being honest with ourselves and telling the truth to our friends. Because we don't know either one. Because for 18 years, we're told who to be, and then we're told, now take your ass out there and be an adult.
But he said
You know
2
what I'm
things.
saying?
One being that he and Greg had a great conversation. It's okay. A couple of months ago about a topic that he had zero ability to relate to or even know about. That you were both almost in tears at one point, and that you learned that even though you have a bunch of exterior differences, inside we have more in common than
We all
you
common
knew.
folk.
That's beautiful.
We're all common folk.
Now, I was going to say, well, maybe Eric knows you better. You're not a man of mystery because he's a guy, but you said Nika piped in and said Greg is not a man of mystery.
Yeah, hers is, gotta find hers too.
That's okay. And
disappears on me.
What age were you when you met Nika?
I met Nika. We met 7, 8 years ago. We was grown. I was working with her kiddos. Nika has a way of pushing my buttons to get me to do things that I'm uncomfortable with doing.
Okay.
And then at the same time, I had a chance to teach her quite a few things just about, because we're business partners. So and we've had a great relationship, and we've had a terrible relationship, and then we had a great relationship. So I've had a chance to learn a lot about how I deal with things and how I allow people to help me. And
Or
that
don't allow them to.
sucks. You know, like we all want help and we all need help. We just don't know how to let people help us, especially people who want to know everything. Like I want to know everything, so I get in the way of a lot of things. I'm aware of that. So now that I see it, I can take a step back from it and let people help the way I need help. Yeah.
So what did Nika say?
Nika said that as his business partner, she's made it clear since we opened the doors 6 years ago that he can play in the sandbox with anyone. He absolutely can. He's such an impressive thing to work, a love-lived partner, befriend, such a shrewd and humble business mind, and lifts those around him with opportunities and constantly. Greg will never ask anyone to do something that he won't do or hasn't done himself.
That's the truth.
That is
And that she's had the pleasure or displeasure about knowing exactly what he's thinking at all times. I love that about him.
And you said you asked a second question, Gracie. What was that?
I did. I asked what impact has Greg had or influence has Greg had on your life? Oh, Carrie said you are not mysterious either.
Carrie's a bully. That's the problem. Carrie's a big bully.
But let's see. I think his name is Tyler Klutz.
Yeah, I know Tyler. Yeah, he was a running back.
And Claudia had something to say about that. Claudia said, quote, do something that scares you at least once a month.
At least once a month.
When I started boot camp with Sam, I started running in obstacle course races. Lost a bunch of weight. I was never athletic in my life. Paul Robinson said, Greg has literally gave my son Nicholas an opportunity to realize how great he can really be by giving him the basic foundation of being confident and knowing what to do to become great at what he does, and I'm eternally grateful for him.
That's wonderful. Those are good questions, Gracie. So, in performance experience, right, your baby, and we're gonna talk some special stuff about what's going down in performance experience right now. But performance experience started years ago.
Yeah.
Some of the programs that we're gonna talk about now are some new and exciting things that you guys are introducing. But so we talked about what kind of kid you were, and rough and tumble, playing with the big boys, playing alone sometimes. Also, what type of young man you were. How you grew into your humility, how you always had the work ethic, and then about transitioning from high school athlete to college athlete. Now that you're in performance experience, you're helping a lot of young people. Have you ever seen yourself in some of the students you work with?
Absolutely.
Tell me about are there any experiences where that really stands out to you? If so, tell me about it.
Yeah, I had a young man about 2 years ago who he wanted to know how things worked, but he wouldn't wait long enough to hear how all of it worked. So it reminded me so much of me. Just give me the basics, I can figure out the rest. Or tell me the job, tell me how you want to do it, I'll go take care of all of it.
I can relate.
But I'm like, before you leave, let's fill up the toolbox. But I had to learn through him that I was the same cat. I was the guy who a lot of problems in my life I realized about 2 years ago that I needed the solution because I made the problem. And if a lot of us really pay attention to that, we are our own problem a lot of times because your gift is your curse. Sometimes you push and you drive and you go and you know that's what made you successful. You know it did, but you don't realize that's what's also holding you back.
How did you learn that lesson?
Losing stuff, Krys. I was losing stuff. I was losing friends. I was losing deals. I was losing keys. Like just losing stuff. And at some point, you realize that you're the reason things are being lost. Because it's easy to go, well, that person didn't do this, or you didn't do it, or they didn't understand this. But I had to take a step back and go, for somebody who thinks they're so introspective, all you see is all the good stuff you've been doing. And I didn't even see that. I just saw how hard I was doing things. Until, shout out to Tom Green, who, older cat, very just direct. He said, he made it clear, ain't nothing you can do about this. There's nothing you can do. You can't make any of this happen. You can't make anything happen. So sit your behind down and prepare for the things that are to come. I didn't want to hear that. So I started thinking back to what my dad said. Son, you gotta wait your turn. Son, you gotta wait your turn. Son, you're gonna have to wait your turn. I'm like, man, I just take my turn. Anybody listening to you, I ain't wait my turn. Every turn is my turn, you know. Matter of fact, I drew the line. I ain't worried about none of that. But what he meant was prepare yourself for the thing that you're actually trying to get accomplished. So over the past couple of years, I really started focusing on what is it that we really, what's the impact, what's the value, what are we actually doing? Anybody can teach a kid how to run. Anybody can teach a kid how to lift weights. Not everybody can instill a seed of confidence that the kid is responsible for watering and taking care of. And that comes from what do you need to do? I just gave you what are you gonna do? How are we gonna do this? What can we do about this? What did you miss? Those things take away the absolute of you can't get out of line or that's hard. Everything is hard. Grown-ups don't like to do things because they're hard. Kids don't realize how hard they are until grown-ups tell them, don't do that, that's too hard.
Yeah.
We're the problem. I say it all the time. My generation, Krys and Gracie, we all yell and scream, I just want to be able to give my kids the things that I didn't have. Now these kids got all the things you didn't have and you mad about it.
I am.
Well, they didn't have to do it like we had to do it. They didn't have to do it. Like all the things you prayed for your kids to have, they have, and now you mad they got them. That's crazy to me. So how about we?
I should say, as a parent,
Mm-hmm.
the only parent at this table,
Mm-hmm.
that we're not mad that they have them.
We're a little envious that we didn't have it.
We're mad that they don't appreciate it.
I disagree. It's hard to appreciate the thing that's constant.
Yes.
The
I
thing
agree.
you expect. Like, it's hard to appreciate Nintendo if you didn't buy your Nintendo.
Totally.
You see what I'm saying? So if somebody gave me a phone at 12, I expect to have a phone at 13, and I expect to have a phone at 50. If I don't have a phone, somebody screwed this thing up. You know, I bought my own car. So from that point on, I expected to pay for my own car.
True.
So it's not they don't appreciate it; it's the expectation. You know what I'm saying? So for me, when
It was
those
a setup.
right, and parents invest a lot into their kids. Like we ain't cheap, Krys, we ain't cheap because we have a specialty. But I know parents want the best for them. So our job is to give them the best of us. So what I'm good at is compartmentalizing. I don't bring my personal feelings into the building. Here's why. Women taught me this. At 5:30 in the morning, I see women at their most honest form.
Yes.
Am I right?
And this is why, for you guys that are new to the podcast or don't know a lot about Greg, at 5:30 some mornings, Greg is at a all women's boot camp.
And that's how I started.
Class, right? So when he says he sees them at their truest form, it's not in the biblical sense. It's no makeup.
Right.
No,
Early in the morning.
Early morning.
Early morning attitude.
Yeah. No representative. They've just gotten up.
They are who they are.
They're coming to get something accomplished, so there's no pretense.
But I realized, it took me, I think it was about 4 years ago, I realized that most of you aren't going out there. The exercise is like number 12 on the list. That hour belongs to you. That hour is yours. That hour is not your kids, not your husbands, not your problems, not your headaches. That hour is yours. So I dedicated my attitude to that hour, period. And I try to teach instructors that, like, if you show up late, that you're taking away from their hour. If you go bring your problems and your gossip and your bad attitude or low energy, they don't, like, they get enough of that. And I tell, like, 5:30 is the best time of the day for me because everybody's free. Like, and women, if you in boot camp, tell me if I'm wrong. You guys are free. And then you go back to the ridiculousness of the world at 6:30. So it is my job to not add to the ridiculousness. And I really believe it. So I tell my folks, hey, leave your problems at the door. People didn't pay for your problems. You know, we have a job to do. We have
The
things,
job don't care.
and I was just gonna say, we have things we have to do, and the job don't care. The job don't care if you got a flat tire. The job don't care if you didn't comb your hair. The job don't care if you was arguing with your husband or wife or whatever. The job don't care. These ladies are here and they have an expectation of relief. You need to go do that because you call yourself a professional. You need to go do that.
Yeah,
So
and that's in everything we do, right?
well, everything you do, everything we try, but not everybody.
Not
thinks
not everybody thinks that, but as far as everything that you do with performance experience, I know everything that we aspire to be as business people is that we're giving someone a product, a service, an experience that you're thinking about their experience 100% of the time. You're not thinking about you.
Because I have a sense of pride in what I can give away. And if I'm gonna give it to you, I'm gonna give all the information to you, you know. And I'm gonna give it to you all up front, then I'm gonna take it all away, and we're gonna go piece by piece. Because the concept is more important than the work, and the concept builds the confidence. And when you see the confidence in, like you can see the confidence in the kid, nobody can take it away. And parents, I know you try to protect them, because I'm not an optimist or a pessimist. I don't live in the fallacy of my feelings towards something. If I get punched in the face, it hurts. It's not, you'll be fine, just sitting there, just smiling. No, I need some ice. I need a bag, and then I need to find out where he's going, because I'm finna hit him from the back and hit his back. Like that's how I think about the entire situation. But notice that I have full control of my response to the situation. So I try my best not to yell at or discount that other people are involved in this situation. My feelings don't matter. Nobody cares how I feel. Why would you care how I feel? I mean, seriously.
Is that something that you find that you have to teach people?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why is that?
Because you have to be fair. Because you gotta be, and I haven't always been fair. Like I've been totally unfair to some people. And when you look back, because I don't really apologize for it. I mean, I don't like apologies, but because apologies don't fix problems. Fixing problems fixes problems. And so I think you gotta be fair with the information you give people. I really believe that. Like if I have a kid that is aspiring to be whatever they're aspiring to be, I can't tell them in good conscience, you can't be that. Because I don't know. But I can't lie to them and say, you can be anything you want to be. That's a lie. You can't. You can't be anything you want to be. But you can be the thing you're supposed to be. And you can be awesome at that. And from that, you can be more things. I'm a teacher by trade. If I expand the word teacher, I never have to be in a classroom. So bad teachers just think they got to be in a classroom. If the kids don't understand, it's because you can't articulate it. You're the problem. The moment we can look at ourselves and at the same time it not be about us, we become valuable.
I love that you said that, because there's teachers listening, there's trainers listening, there's coaches listening, there's bosses listening. Like that employee, that athlete, that student just doesn't get it. Just doesn't get it.
Because you ain't giving it right.
Right. But they don't look at themselves and say, what am I doing that they're not learning it?
What do we call it, Grace-O? Speaking speak their language.
We actually had something happen like that. We had a football player who came in there and, like, over quarantine, he started digitally training. And I was working with him. Usually I work with anybody at the beginning. And it took until after, I think, number 3 in person, I was like, I asked for some help. I asked one of the other trainers, because Greg's trying not to train. He's supposed to be retired technically.
No, I won't ever retire, I see.
And he ends up working with him. And I was like, I don't want you to think that I didn't want to train him.
Yeah.
I could see that he was gravitating towards you, or something that he understood from you that he wasn't going to get from me. And that's just everything that he's talking about speaking, being able to get them to understand what you're trying to
Trying to get them, and the way I found to do it is the more I know, the more I can find out how to relate to them.
The more that you know about them personally?
No, the more things I know. Like the more
like keywords.
Or not even that, just
like
the more experience I've had in multiple areas. So if kids know about cars, I can take the information that I have and make it a car situation or wrestling.
Yeah.
So whatever I can grab that they understand, that's what I use.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's called teaching. And shout out to Darvis Patton, teaching ain't telling. He says that to me all the time.
What does that mean?
That means like me telling you to do something and hoping you understand it ain't teaching. And Linda Moore, shout out to Dr. Moore from TCU, taught me how to shut up and hear what people say that don't agree with me. Like, don't bring your attitude to the beginning. Wait and see, because some people may have something going on you're not aware of.
Totally.
Like, and she would drive that home, and those lessons that she taught me, I take everywhere. Because again, we're dealing with kids, and kids are the most honest and the most direct and the most afraid, and they get it all from us. When a kid ain't trying something, we did something. It was something we did. Mm-hmm. It was something that we took from them that we need to stop and give back. You know, or if they're out of line and we're allowing it, it's something we should take from them, so they understand that this ain't acceptable. But if your mama is yelling and screaming and you're saying this at the top of her lungs about things that don't matter, you know, like theories or mask, or like, when do you find out what does matter? You know, you can't if you don't shut up. So what Dr. Moore said?
Well, you had a couple people say a few things about you. Earlier, when you were talking about, I'll take care of it. That's what he says, right? He said, I'll take care of it. It's classic Greg back in the day. So smart, but moving fast.
I'll take care of it.
And then to kind of piggyback off of giving the kids confidence and something that they can own after that point.
You gotta own it, man.
Eric said, I have to say this, a couple years ago, I had my son going to training at PE. I was one of the parents that would say my boy wasn't athletic. Greg would look at me out the corner of his eye. I ran track and cross country in college. Never thought my son would ever have that ability.
Nah, he's one of the best.
I was absolutely wrong. Greg proved that. Ryan ended up lettering at LD Bell in cross country last year while still being in junior high, something I never did. Greg saw that in him when his dad didn't. And then Carrie put,
amazing.
Greg has made an influence on my son. Ben considers him his best friend.
That's my guy, man.
And would always seek him for advice.
Big.
That's so sweet.
I relate to a lot of those kids, because what I learned about kids, they just want to be heard no matter what they have to say. So, and they want to feel safe. And I ain't talking about safe from physical harm. They want to be able to trust that if you say, hey, what's going on, man? This is between us. It's between y'all. I've learned that adults have a hard time with that. If you just crack your window where you live, you find out everything about everybody.
Right.
Instantly, including what people think about you. So you flex your power of them not knowing that you know what you know, and just watch people be uncomfortable. So imagine if you're a kid and you're going through that. You feel me? And one person says something and then somebody else says something different. You don't know, because most kids trust the voice closest to them.
Yeah.
So if the voice closest to them is right, then it's right. And that was my problem growing up. People would tell me things, but they wouldn't let me ask things.
I mean, I think that happens to a lot of people in our generation.
But they didn't shut me up. It's just they wouldn't answer. There were never answers, because I said so, or that's just the way it is, or God is a mysterious God. I'm like, that ain't good enough for me.
These are not real.
Like, these ain't answers, man. Like, all these books and all these smart people around here, man. Your job is to know you the preacher, right? Or your job is to know you the teacher, and you can't tell me. I'll go find out for myself. And don't be mad when I come back with some logical information that's not esoteric or don't be mad because I did read the Quran or the Book of Mormon. And I learned as an athlete, you want to know as much about the other team as possible, right? So if you believe in God and the Bible, you might want to find out what atheists think. It will open your mind to so many things. So we have to stop being so closed-minded with these 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old minds. You know, we can't tell them they can't do things because we couldn't do them. Or they can do things because we could do them. Find out what they want to do and start pushing them towards that.
So we know why you've been so successful with the athletes that you have trained at Performance Experience. And you guys, how long has Performance Experience been around?
6.5 years.
So 6.5 years, you guys have some programs that have been working since the beginning. You're still doing them, but you're also introducing new programs like Speed School Level 1, Virtual Football Combine, and Speed School. Tell me why you're introducing these new programs as of late and why you are super passionate about these. And I have a daughter who's 16. She's a soccer athlete. She aspires to possibly play college soccer. She just, like in the past few months, before she had no interest in it. So like if you're talking to a person like me, like tell me.
Well, the digital program, Speed School Level 1, I think is one of the best things we ever put together. I really believe that. And part of it is, it's new to y'all, but we've been working on this for 6 years, trying to make sure the progression makes sense, the pictures make sense, the video makes sense, the information makes sense. And it is a teaching tool for parents, coaches, kids. It's an app, they can use it, all the exercises, 16 different workouts. All based in mechanics, functional mechanics, learning how to run, learning the basic movements of athletics. Running is the original sport. So if we can find out all of the proper mechanics for running, you become a better athlete all over. Now, I'm going to say some things that may upset some people, but if you hadn't noticed, I don't really care. Your 8-year-old is fast because they're 8, not because they're fast. I mean that. And now they are fast. You may have a fast 8-year-old, but your 8-year-old is fast because they're 8 years old, not because they're fast.
Okay.
Your 15-year-old is fast because he's fast. But speed can be taught, just like Spanish, just like fixing a car. Your mind has no ceiling or floor. Have you ever seen a mind? You've seen a brain. You've never seen a mind. So that's the storage house for learning. So if I can learn how to run properly and I have these physical abilities, I can actually be unstoppable.
So Speed School Level 1
is a digital teaching program for all of the movements, and it's designed for anybody who wants to learn it.
To learn what?
Learn how to run, the basic mechanics of running, speed, efficiency, how not to get hurt, a bunch of exercises you can do at home, exercises you can do on the field, warm-ups that I think every coach across the nation should include some of these exercises, these movements. It is designed for you to be safe and efficient. So when you are trying to run a fast time, now you can focus on running a fast time.
So I can get this app.
You can get this app.
Or program, digital program.
Yes.
And I have a 9-year-old. I can download it. I can take my 9-year-old. We go out in the backyard to the track, and we can go through.
Absolutely. So you'll watch it, you'll see it, you'll go through the movements, and right up underneath it is the program for the day. 3 sets of this or 3 sets of that. It's designed for everyone to have an understanding of what the expectation is.
And it sounds like it's broken down to like digestible pieces.
Yeah, explain it. Yeah, because she did most of it. She won't ever say that. But the reason it took so long to come to life, because I couldn't bring it to life past paper. I'm old school, you know what I'm saying? So I was just looking for the proper digital platform, and she brought it to life. And she wrote a lot of the program itself. She adjusted and revised a lot of the original program. So it's just as much or even more her baby. We call it a mechanic, but the exercises everybody should get it. I know we
So
say
any athlete.
Any athlete.
What age would this be good for?
It's good foundational, even for little kids, but the attention span is more than anything. Like anything under 10 would be hard to keep their attention.
Right.
But if they have some guidance and they have videos to show them how to do these things and the important pieces that are broken down on how to do high knees, how to do butt kicks.
So if I gave it to my 17-year-old, she could probably do that by herself.
Absolutely.
I have an 11-year-old that just started last week, and he was
just doing it on their own. And I love that, because also when you're teaching work ethic, it's about self-initiative as well, right? And if I have to hold your hand to get you there, so I like that it's digestible for teenagers or young people, that they can do it on their own, or if their parents want to be involved, they can also.
Great, so drop that link on online. I know we got 40% off on one, 50% off. I think it's 50% off. Drop that link if people want. Especially at this time, Krys.
It's a great
especially, I just thought about it, especially at this time where you can actually work on those mechanics, you can keep yourself from getting for football players. It's right on time, especially youth football coaches. It's actually right on time. So if you don't do it, then you're gonna spend way more money for us to teach you how to do that, and then we'll teach you all the power and efficiency stuff.
And let me tell you, I bought a program, an app for my 9-year-old daughter. I won't say what it is, but you have to buy the piece of equipment for the program, and I think I paid like $100 for it. But the program, after you get past the first week, it just keeps on repeating, and my daughter's like, you know, it's boring, mommy. You know, can I just do it on my own? I've already done this rep 30 times and it asks me to do it every day, and there's nothing interesting about it. And the little pieces that I've seen of Speed School when you guys first introduced it to me, it seemed to take you through a lot of different movements, all in the same end goal.
It's very progressive. It's very progressive. It's designed with the same goal, efficiency. So it's level 1. Level 2 is about power. And then level 3 is efficiency, explosive movement, and power. But level 1 is for everybody. I mean, a 25-year-old getting ready to go and compete for whatever can do all of these movements at a high tempo, at a controlled tempo. I mean, it is designed for the athlete, male, female, in any ball or field sport. I encourage anybody who, and then, now you can't even use your, you can't go back to school till what, 7th or
No, this is a great time.
This is the time to
and when you're doing it, you can tell that you're building.
Absolutely.
So like you're seeing your investment in your body and your mind and your training. Absolutely. And so it keeps you interested and engaged.
Absolutely.
What is virtual football combine?
All right, we have
so exciting.
Yeah, we got a combine coming up for the class of 21 and the classes of 22, the juniors and seniors. Krys, I did that because of what we talked about earlier, like that opportunity. So right now, the coaches would have been able to go out and recruit these kids, but they kept extending what they call the dead period due to COVID-19.
I've wondered about that.
So now you got classes of athletes who haven't been evaluated. And some kids need that evaluation to get that chance to go to school somewhere. So because I understand what coaches are looking for, and I stay in constant contact with multiple coaches from multiple universities, we are putting together the evaluation basically for these juniors and seniors. So you fill out the form online, you show up, we video your 40-yard dash, we video your 5-10-5, we video your broad jump, and we video your drills. Once we put that package together and we evaluate it, we send it to coaches to where your abilities and your size and what your assessment says you fit. Now, when I say that, it's not a computer generated download spit out. It's coaches that we trust, coaches that I know, and coaches that I'm working with now, evaluating and sending information for these kids to our contacts in
Yeah.
these universities.
It's a personal email from Greg Walls
with
to
all the
this
information.
coach.
Yeah, and the coaches
I
that
love
I've
that.
already talked to said, well, hey, Greg, I had one of my mentors who's a coach now, and he said, Greg, you know what would be great if you could get all of this information, and that way when you send it to us, all we have to do is evaluate the kid. I said, Coach, that's exactly what I'm gonna do, because I know the evaluation process. I sat next to you and worked with you 10 years ago. So what we're doing, if a kid is really looking for a chance to go to be seen by these universities that couldn't see them this summer, and they don't sign up, I can't help you. And I mean that. Like, you have to invest in your opportunity. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? Because right now, you're being given an opportunity that didn't exist. You could have sat around and complained about not being able to be evaluated.
Here's your shot.
Whenever a parent wants to know, there will be a basketball specific program.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, coming in November and towards December, all sports will be covered. We're gonna, when I say all, softball, baseball, basketball, volleyball, and football. Those are all
What
of
about
our
soccer?
yeah, and soccer. I'm sorry, I don't know how I skipped that. All our showcases will be timed according to when they can be evaluated in the seasons. So if you're a football player right now, you're a junior or a senior, and you're not getting a lot of looks, but you think you can play, and you don't give yourself a chance, because we're only taking 10 people per position. So we're not wasting anybody's time, energy, or money. We're taking 10 per position, and if you evaluate it properly,
Be specific for them, like offense, like 10
no,
offense players?
no, 10 wide receivers, 10 running backs, 10 quarterbacks. So we're taking 10 per position, and we're gonna evaluate each of them. We're gonna send the information that matters. And how much is it? $139?
Yeah.
And we got a discount for that too. I
15%
mean,
off Combine 2020?
yeah.
Let me tell you, parents, if you're listening, I had a relative, and a lot of us are in this position. This happens on every level, high school level, college. This even happens in the pros, that because of whatever reason, coaches have favorites sometimes. Maybe there's community dynamics or community politics, and where an athlete is really talented, or has a lot of real potential. I'm not talking about potential in a fake sense, real potential, but is not getting that much attention by the leaders on the team, right? This is a great opportunity because, like, hey, maybe my coach hasn't pushed me forward. He's been pushing the other guy forward.
You know,
but I need to,
go ahead.
I need my shot. And so if you are a parent or a uncle or an aunt of an athlete like that, this is, and you think that they have some potential, I think that this is an excellent opportunity.
I'm using my privilege.
Yes.
And I heard, like, for anybody who thinks the words white privilege is a racist term, let me help you understand something. Because I like words. Privilege is only a positive term. And if you use your privilege positively, you be proud when people say white privilege. White privilege is the fact that you never had to endure using a terrible bathroom because the bathrooms were white only. That's privilege. You know, or the sign says no N-words, no Mexicans, no dogs, in that order. So use your privilege. I mean, there's nothing negative about having privilege. So I'm using my relationship privileges to give these kids an opportunity that may or may not have had an opportunity. So that's what that's about. And I know we talked about Speed School is basically the in-person program at PE, the developmental program that monthly, and it's $89 a month. So we like to stay affordable. Now our prices get a little up there during the personal instruction because we do specific stuff, but those 3 programs, if you're not a part of that right now and you're looking for an opportunity, you're not looking for an opportunity if you're not a part of it, you know, because I have some, like Margin Hooks, who is, in my opinion, one of the best personal wide receiver instructors in the nation, is a part of this, and his kids, and he flies to New Orleans to help the Saints receivers run routes. So we have some, and then we have relationships with, I think right now it's 22 coaches for the virtual combine that are interested in us facilitating the information.
I love that. Because, you know, a lot of people think, oh, I wish my uncle, we had a friend, I wish we knew someone. Now you know someone.
Yep.
His name's Greg Wall.
So
Getting
use it.
that program.
Use it.
You can go to pe28.com
for speed school.
For speed school.
Check the link for digital speed school because that's the one with the discounts on the Krys.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And Greg, the last thing that I want to ask you, is there anything that I didn't ask you or anything that you want to leave the people with this evening?
It is. The mind is a special thing. And I really believe that as adults, it's our job to instill in these kids the ability to be inquisitive. And then we push that by continuing to ask them questions about the questions they're asking. We can't run away from the opportunity to help because we're uncomfortable. If whatever you don't know, go know it. Whatever you don't know, if it's going to help the people around you and you want to add some value, go know it. And I'll leave with this. The earth is too big for you to make an impact. You might be able to make a ripple, but your world, if you're not impactful in your world, you wasted your life. I know that sounds harsh, but you got to be in it. If it's your world, you have to make an impact.
Well, I think you're doing a great job at making an impact in the lives of people around you, the lives of the community around you. I know I certainly appreciate it, and I see it all the time. Thank you, Greg, for opening up.
Thank you,
the
guys.
Man of mystery has opened up his heart and his mind, gave us a little sneak peek about the greatness inside of him. I'm so happy that we have this opportunity to talk. I can't wait to learn more, too.
Yep, I can't wait for it, and I'm not always the best dude, but I try to be the best at the things I do.
You're amazing. Thank you guys for joining us this evening, and join us again for Beyond the Noise.
Awesome.